is Ana Cortez.
I'm Marlene. And I am Myra.
And we decided to do our project over at South Shaver Elementary, which is the school that I work for. And we wanted to find out a couple of things about the school. The statement of the problem, we wanted to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the school, of the school bilingual and ESL programs. And as I said, I am employed at that school. This is my first year working there. There is a new principal at the school. She has been there for about 2 to 3 years. Prior to that, the principal at this school, she was there for 25 years. So she came in and she wanted to implement a couple of things. So our problem, or our statement of the problem, is we wanted to see how the new administration has affected and or impacted the school performance.
And this is basically the breakdown of our TAPR report. So the population, there's a total of 644 students, and Hispanic population is greatly seen in this school. It's the majority, it's 596. There's less than 50 students of any other ethnicity, which is white, African American, and American Indian. The good thing about this is there's actually a lot of bilingual teachers, or a lot of Hispanic teachers, so they get to see that and make the connections as well. The programs offered are, it's from pre-K to 4th grade. This is a pre-K to 4th grade school. So they have GT from kinder to 4th grade, and there's 17 students, I believe, that have been identified. They have student council, they have a dance team, they have a gardening club. So all of these things I feel like are great ways to prepare the students for once they get to middle school and just keep them engaged throughout, we'll have something to look forward to the end of the day or something like that. And there's 592 students on free or reduced lunch. So their at-risk numbers are also fairly high, but luckily they have very good attendance at this school. Their bilingual program is a transitional bilingual. They like to do late exit, so they're going to be in there past 3rd grade. And since, of course, there's so many Hispanic students, their ESL is Spanish. And they also have, these are some of the needs that the school meets. And so they have a high number of bilingual teachers, like I said. They have a tutoring program, and so this is for 3rd and 4th graders. I guess they base it this way because they're already doing the STAR testing, and so they can go during the morning or the afternoon. They can use the iStation. Also, they have a speech teacher, resource teacher that are for all grades throughout the school. They have a counselor and a psychologist. And do you want to do the special ed?
Oh yeah, and then for the special education, they have different programs. One of them is they have the PPCD, and they also have the ABLE program. The ABLE program is for students who are the ABLE program is for students who are in kinder through 4th grade. And what these students do is they visit classes with the paras along with specials. So they go 30 minutes to music and 30 minutes to PE every single day, on top of the classes that they go to with the paras. Now the PPCD, that is for pre-K, but for special education. And that program has that program has 1 teacher and 2 paras. I believe there's like 5 students in that class. For the ABLE program, there are 12 students, and there's a total of 2 teachers, and the students are divided into 6 on each classroom, and each classroom has 1 teacher and 2 paras designed to be in there with them the entire day. Wherever the kids go, that's where the paras go.
So for strengths and weaknesses, we did it first on the school and then on the bilingual program. So this is for the school itself. The class sizes are smaller than the district's average. They offer a lot more teacher aides in the classroom. And as far as their STAR testing scores, they improved significantly from last year's from 2013 and 2014. So in third grade reading, they went from 68% to 71. Math, they did from 61% to 69%. Fourth grade, they went up from 54% to 87, which is better than the district. The math, they went up from 63 to 76, again, better than the district. And the writing from 59% to 87. So fourth grade really improved once that new principal came in and she started implementing more programs into the school.
And then I'm gonna talk to you guys about the weaknesses. There are a couple that they have. One of them is their retention percentage for third grade is more than double than the district's average. I did talk to the principal about this. I asked her why is it that the percentage is so high for third graders? And she said basically because they wanted to make sure that the students that they're prepared to go into fourth grade. They just don't want to throw them in there just to make the numbers look good for the district. So she says that if the students are not prepared, then they don't want to just throw them in there so they can struggle for fourth and then throw out their the rest of the the school years. So she said that was one of the things that she talks to her team a lot about, is to make sure that third graders are prepared so they can be successful for the rest of their career, not only just to finish high school but also to college. And then also another weakness that I think that they have is that they only have 2 male teachers. One of them is the PE coach, and the other one is he's the special education teacher for one of the classes. Also, their number of special ed teacher is much smaller than the district's average. And we decided to throw in this quote. It says, "Use your weaknesses, aspire to this strength."
And I think that that quote goes to what the principal implements on what you just said right now. She holds them back and she uses their weakness and she tries to build up their strength. That way they can further on and aspire to their strengths later on. So that was like a perfect quote and principal input on that. So as far as the strengths for the bilingual program, they offer the transitional. So they have support from the peer facilitators, coaches, and the paraprofessionals. They have intervention for students, so if there is a student that needs significant amount of instruction, they can do a one-on-one. And they also do it twice a day, 45 minutes total, so they break down the 45 minutes into math section and the reading section. And for ESL, they have bilingual teachers. They are able to communicate effectively with one another, and they also give each other ideas on what can help one student or just a class in general. If they had a specific student from before, just anything, they're willing to be open with each other and help one another out.
And I'm going to talk about the weaknesses for the bilingual and ESL program. What I've seen and what I've heard, and even our principal has mentioned, that the tenured teachers need to accept the change from the new administration. As I mentioned before, the other principal, or the previous principal, she was there for 25 years. So if we have now teachers that have been there for 20 years, they're used to the old principal, as they say, the older way, the old way. But for her, she wants to always try out new things and things that do work for the kids. She doesn't just want to do something and then just because the teachers like it, then that means that that the teachers are going to keep doing it. It's more for the kids. What is beneficial for the kids? How are the kids going to be successful? How are you going to be able to help them? Is this working? If not, let's change it. Any suggestions? And it's not just her ideas. It's the peer facilitators, the coaches, and pretty much everyone in the staff. That they have some ideas. She's open to new ideas. Also, teachers. Some of the teachers have made some comments that they need more time than usual when teaching different content. This is because, as some of my classmates have mentioned earlier, is that it's more of test. I have to prepare you for the test, Also is to get used to the procedures changing throughout the year. basically this year we have, the district is mainly focusing on first grade. So every month, someone from the district comes in and they want to see what they're doing, how they're implementing, you know, or how they're making their reading, their reading and their writing better to better help the students at higher grade levels. They also need to find a balance on all content areas. I've seen some teachers that they focus too much on one subject and then they don't spend so much time on the other. For example, they do too much on reading and not so much on math.
So some of the connections to culture and language, and I would say that this connects also to the community, not just within the school, because it's the school is in a Hispanic community. There's 368 ELLs, and like we said, there's 307 in the bilingual or the ESL program, and they have 15 teachers, but like we put on here, there's a lot of peers that also help out in the school. And there's the 17 gifted and talented students, they meet with the librarian, and she'll typically have like things for them to work on and extra assignments that they can practice with, so they're constantly working. They're not, they don't feel stuck within their classrooms. There's 32 students that have been diagnosed with dyslexia or speech problems, and there's 2 teachers that help them with that, so that'd be like coaches. Okay. And so I thought that was kind of neat. Every Wednesday there's a charla, and that's basically going to be like a parent workshop, and so the parents can come in and they learn different strategies and different ways that they can help their students. And the fact that they're making probably it's going to be in Spanish, so they're trying to, you know, target their Hispanic population. Yeah.
So our personal reflection, the first one was describe what you personally have learned from your interaction with the team in this project. So I put great team to work with because we're pretty awesome. Marlene, everyone in my team had a great idea to incorporate into our project, and it worked well. And I said that I love the organization that the team had from the very beginning and how we're all able to work together and finish our project on time. And as far as the describe your own learning outcomes and explain what worked for you, I believe the 3 of us, we all were together on this, working hand in hand. We organized on who was going to do what early on, and by doing that, everything goes along smooth, you know, along the way. And we were able to quickly determine all the information needed for the project and get it done in a timely manner. And of course, Anna, on the last one, what do you know now that is different from before you started? She knew everything because she works there. So that was her input on that. But I said that I honestly never liked change. I worked at T-Mobile for 4 years in one location, driving 30 minutes. And there's a store that was like 10 minutes close to my house. But because I didn't like change, I would still drive that extra time. So seeing this, a principal change and it benefit the school, I can see that sometimes change is good and I have to accept it, and I am learning how to do that. And of course, Marlene said the difference that just one person can make on the way to an entire school's running is amazing. I'm happy to see that the school has changed for the better, and now we will have much more skilled students to sharpen, shape our future.
So in other words, I would recommend the school. I would send my children there.
Definitely, we all would.
If I have children.
Thank you.